and I'm starting a thread by pinning the right questions. Let me show you what I have on my tailored table. I have the perfect material, the right tools, with which I will make some adjustments to have the final piece. About the material, let me introduce myself. I'm working as a team leader for a bunch of developers, designers, and QA engineers. We have discussions together with our stakeholders. Therefore, I'm acting as a project manager, a business analyst, and a UI designer at once. This is my professional life. But in my private life, I do love sewing. I'm a wannabe seamstress, and, well, I'm a maximalist. But what I wanted to understand the developers to be able to translate the business needs to them and vice versa. So I needed a common language. I realized that the common language should be coding. I should learn to code. This way I will have two achievements at once. I can become a better leader, and I will have an application that helps in optimizing the amount of material for my hobby projects. But I failed. I started with Googling how to learn to code, and the majority of the results were bootcamps. These bootcamps started with explaining pure mathematical theory instead of giving real life examples and naming good tools. This is the point where I stopped. I realized that I need to know myself, what kind of person I am. As the previous example shows, I'm a practical one. I realized that I needed to change something. If the internet gives theoretical solutions, I need somebody who will directly tell me what to do in practice and why. So I needed a mentor. And here you come into the picture. Who are you? You are a developer, an engineer, an architect, a tech genius. Basically, you are God to me. But you are also a human being. So I am able to ask questions and you can answer. Therefore, you are also a mentor. Let me share a few examples. What kind of discussions did we have with my mentor? For example, which hardware to use? I have a laptop. Everybody can write codes on a laptop, but okay, which software to use? My mentor answered, download this and definitely that. Okay, but why those? What's the connection? What is the logic behind? And he answered, as a mentor, you should prepare to answer low-level questions. Those questions that are so easy and simple that you might think that they won't ever come up. Well, they will. After we had everything set up and before we started actual coding, we had an interesting topic. My mentor asked me, what do you expect from developing your application? And I told him, well, I want an application to know the proper amount of material. For sewing, you know. Okay, but what do you measure exactly? He asked me. To be able to plan the project, my mentor asked specifically and refined each and every question until he had his proper answers. As a mentor, you need to ask specifically so you will get the right answers. Let me summarize what we had up until this point. I had an idea. I got help in selecting the proper tools to be able to develop that idea. During the setup, we had discussions, and based on those questions and answers, we were able to plan what exactly to be developed. My mentor asked me to write down a simple list of mathematical functions that I need to calculate for the proper amount of material on paper. And based on that plan on the list on the paper, we were able to build up the architecture of the future project. After initiation and the first lines of code, we made a few iterations. As a mentor, you will think together continuously with your mentees. During these sessions, both of you will ask questions, and based on those, you will be able to advise. And again, and again, and again. This is a repetitive cycle. Let me summarize the process. First, you will assess the situation. Where are your mentees? Which are the missing key points to start? You will be able to tell what kind of people they are. Either they will accept theoretical approach or they rather like practical approach. Based on what you see about them and how they ask, you will be able to show direction. They will be able to achieve milestones and smaller and bigger successes. It's very important to encourage them continuously. What else should you think about? You should help with the proper stack. My mentor advised to use React as for my aims and my personal habit, it fits the best. It provided steep learning curve and I could experience success very quickly. It motivated me to run faster. You should highlight the importance of documentation. Mentees can get answers for their questions if they know what to search for and how to read functional specification and other documents. They will learn what to include into their documentation and how to master it. Finally, and almost most importantly, you should tell them about the code review. You should do it together so that you can constantly provide good examples, highlight alternatives, but avoid criticism. You should always be constructive. One more important topic here. Mentors should be aware of the hidden questions. If you hear the following sentences from your mentees, there is too much information, no direction, no proper answer, I don't know even where to start, or anything at all, you can suspect that something is missing. So, what you can do is to come up with analogies and real-life examples for the very same thing that you've just covered, so your mentees will be able to understand it in another way. Ask your mentees to describe what they've learned, but with their own words. If they can visualize it, they will understand it. This discussion was also between me and my mentor. That's when I realized that if I cannot clarify those details, then some question should be asked. And based on that hidden question and the context, you as a mentor will be able to fill the gap. Now, let's see, why is it good to be a mentor? What's in it for you? You will gain new skills. You will face professional challenges, and during these, you will solve problems while you show empathy. You will face the fact that as there are different people, there are different ways of thinking and different perspectives. And there will be a logical explanation for each and every of them. By explaining how to use the existing solutions or tools and by experiencing new solutions, you will be able to show guidance where to turn next. And most importantly, during this process, you will understand and respect each other, so you will have mutual trust. This is huge. Please take it seriously. Now, the final piece consists of the result, what I had at the end of my first development journey, and also the key benefits, what you can take away after this presentation. I am now able to speak the common language with my developers. I gain their trust and we have mutual respect towards each other. You will have the same. It is a symbiotic relationship. Both parties can turn to each other. You will have a promising new talent to talk to. And I now have an application at hand that helps me in optimizing the proper amount of material for my hobby. What I wanted to calculate from the material where I could give the material width, the neck height, the chest width, the waist width. Nah, it would be too much. Yeah, this is better. Okay, a more realistic hip width, an arm circumference, an arm length, full length of the upper clothing, and the general seam with which you will be able to end the shirt. Now I can see that bit more than 2 meters of material I will need. Okay, what's next for me? I definitely have several ideas how to broaden the functionality of my application, and I want to practice because I'm aiming for more. What's next for you? You will be able to think as a beginner and now know where to start. Also, you will be able to recognize the pattern of hidden questions and be able to show the same from another view. Well, muchas gracias.